Why do you zone out staring at a fire? Or maybe just watching a candle flicker on your kitchen table and your brain just leaves? You're not thinking about work or your phone or anything really. You're just watching the flame move, not reading it, not analyzing it, just watching. That blank, floaty feeling, that's not boredom. That's one of the oldest states your brain knows how to enter. The question is, why does a bunch of moving orange light shut your brain up better than almost anything else on Earth? To answer that, we have to go back, way back, before humans, before fire was even a thing anyone controlled.
Let's start around 1.5 million years ago at a site called Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa. Researchers digging through ash layers deep inside that cave found burned bone and plant material, evidence that early hominins, likely Homo erectus, were using fire that far back. Not necessarily making it from scratch yet, just keeping it going, tending it like a fragile pet that could kill you if you let it die. Think about what that actually required. No matches, no lighters, no backup plan. If the fire went out, you might not get another one for weeks, maybe longer, depending on the season and whether lightning felt like cooperating. So somebody had to sit there, watching it, feeding it, staring at it for hours to make sure it didn't die on their watch. That's the first clue. Fire watching wasn't a hobby. It was a job, arguably one of the first jobs in the history of our lineage, and it was a job assigned to basically everybody, generation after generation, for a stretch of time so long it's hard to even picture. We're talking well over 1 million years of humans and near humans sitting near flames, night after night. Quick pause. If this kind of, wait, that's why we do that stuff is your thing, go ahead and hit like and subscribe now, because this channel's whole deal is unpacking weird human habits like this one. Okay, back to the fire.
So somebody's on fire duty hour after hour, night after night, for generation after generation. And here's the thing, the human brain does not enjoy doing nothing for that long. Try it yourself. Sit in a quiet room with zero stimulation for 20 minutes and see how fast your mind starts crawling the walls. We're wired to seek input. Except fire isn't nothing. It moves constantly, unpredictably, but within a pattern. Flicker, dim, flare, flicker. Never repeating exactly, never fully random either. It's stimulating enough to hold attention, but not demanding enough to feel like work. Researchers who study attention actually have a name for this kind of stimulus. They call it soft fascination. It's the same category clouds fall into, ocean waves, rustling leaves, things that hold your gaze without asking anything of you. And out of everything in that category, fire might be the most effective trigger we know of, because unlike clouds or waves, it's warm, it's close, and crucially, it used to be something you needed to survive. But here's the problem for early humans. Being that relaxed around something so dangerous should be a bad evolutionary bet. Fire burns, fire spreads. Fire has killed more humans across history than almost any predator you could name. Evolution usually punishes creatures that get too chill around things capable of killing them. So why would staring at fire feel good instead of triggering stress?
Here's what makes this so important. A 2014 study out of the University of Alabama, led by anthropologist Christopher Lynn, actually put this to the test. He hooked participants up to blood pressure monitors and had them watch a fire, once with the crackling sound included, once without. Blood pressure dropped the longer people watched, and it dropped even further with the sound layered in. Fire wasn't just tolerated, it was actively calming people down on a measurable physiological level. Think about that for a second. A species that could genuinely relax, parasympathetic nervous system, blood pressure actually dropping relax next to an open flame had a real survival advantage. Lower stress means better digestion, better sleep, a stronger immune response, more energy saved up for tomorrow's hunt or tomorrow's walk to the next water source. The calmest group around the fire might have quite literally been the healthiest, longest living group. That's a strange thing to owe your evenings to. But we're not done, because fire didn't just calm bodies down, it started building something bigger. Fast forward to around 400,000 years ago at a site called Kesem Cave in Israel. Archaeologists there found a hearth that had been used repeatedly, over and over, in the exact same spot for a very long stretch of time. That detail matters. A random one-off fire is just a fire. A hearth reused for generations is a gathering point, a place people kept coming back to night after night on purpose. And once the sun goes down and you're sitting still around a fire with nothing else demanding your hands or your eyes, what else is there to do besides talk? Anthropologist Paulie Wiesner studied this exact question in modern hunter-gatherer groups, specifically the Juhwansi people of the Kalahari Desert, and found something genuinely surprising. Daytime conversation among the group was almost entirely practical. Complaints, logistics, who saw what animal where, pretty dry stuff, honestly. But nighttime, fireside conversation was completely different. That's when the storytelling came out. Myths, histories, jokes about people in the group. The exact kind of talk that builds a shared identity instead of just getting through the day.
Here's the hammer line. Fire didn't just light the dark, it built the first stage humans ever performed on. So you've got physical calm and you've got social bonding. But there's a third piece, and it might be the strangest one of all. Some researchers, including primatologist Richard Wrangham, argue that controlled fire didn't just change human behavior, it changed human biology directly through cooking. Cooked food is dramatically easier to digest than raw food. Less chewing, less gut work, more calories actually absorbed per bite. And that matters because digestion is expensive. It burns a huge chunk of your daily energy. Wrangham's argument is that once cooking entered the picture, our ancestors' guts could afford to shrink, and that freed up energy could get redirected somewhere else entirely, into growing a bigger, more expensive brain. So that fire you're mesmerized by right now, some scientists think it's connected to the very reason you have a brain capable of getting mesmerized in the first place. The thing on the screen and the thing doing the watching may share an origin story. Kind of a lot of pressure for one campfire. No wonder it's hypnotic.
Now let's push forward a bit further, because the fire habit didn't stop at cooking and storytelling. It also reshaped the human sleep schedule. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer communities, including the Hadza in Tanzania, have found that firelight in the evening appears linked to people staying up later than daylight alone would allow, using that extra time for exactly the kind of social, relaxed, low-stakes activity we've been talking about. Basically, fire gave humans a few extra hours of awake time every single day, and pointed those hours specifically at connection instead of survival tasks. A few extra social hours a day, repeated over hundreds of thousands of days across an entire population. That adds up to a lot of shared myths, a lot of relationship building, a lot of exactly the glue that holds a group of humans together as a group instead of just a bunch of individuals near the same water source. Let's jump forward one more time, to right now, basically. Modern researchers have shown that people report the exact same drop in stress and blood pressure watching a screen recording of a fire. No crackling sound, no real heat, just a video. It still works. Not as strongly as the real thing, but it still works.
That's why fireplace videos exist. That's why cozy fire is a whole YouTube genre with millions and millions of views and zero plot. That's why you'll sit on your couch and put on a 2-hour video of a fireplace with literally nothing else happening on screen. You're not doing anything productive. You're just doing what your ancestors did 1.5 million years ago. Except now the fire's on a 4K screen instead of a cave floor, and nobody has to actually keep it alive.
So here's the full picture. It starts with early hominins forced to babysit flames for pure survival, hour after hour for over 1 million years. That babysitting turns into a strange kind of biological reward, real, measurable, physical calm. That calm turns into gathering, and gathering turns into storytelling, myth, and the earliest form of real community. That community and that extra fire-lit time may have helped shape human sleep as social patterns for good. And that entire loop might have literally helped shape the brain that's sitting there watching this video right now. So next time you catch yourself zoning out at a bonfire or a candle, or honestly a fireplace video at 1 a.m. for no reason at all, that's not you being lazy. That's over 1 million years of programming kicking in exactly the way it's supposed to. We spend a lot of energy these days trying to relax on purpose. Apps, playlists, breathing exercises, 5-star meditation retreats. Turns out, we've had the original version the whole time. It's just been sitting there, quietly flickering, waiting for us to sit back down and stare at it again. If you liked digging into this one, there's a lot more of these why do humans do that stories where this came from. Feel free to stick around for the next one.